actually understood that if you were going to have any kind of democracy in the United States, period, no, you don't have to candy coat it and say, well, there's gradations or anything like that. If you were going to have even the barest minimum of a democratic experiment in the United States, we had to recognize that our media system was headed in exactly the wrong direction. It was headed in a radically anti-democratic, small d democratic direction, becoming more consolidated, more dumbed down, more dysfunctional. Now, 15 years on, we don't get much debate. Most people, even when we go to Congress, we have conservative Republicans whose Southern drawls we can barely understand, who will say, well, you know, you guardsmen, you might be right about something there. You know, because even the most right-wing, conservative, opposite of Paul Wellstone person likes to be covered when they do things. And the fact of the matter is, the number one thing we hear from members of Congress, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals, whatever their politics is, yeah, we used to have a newspaper in my town. Now, technically the newspaper still publishes, but the term used to have a newspaper is one that we hear all the time, because the people aren't as stupid as journalists. The people actually know when a newspaper died. And they know that in most cases their newspaper died long before it ceased to publish. And I'll be very blunt with you. We're here in one of the great journalism communities in the United States, Minneapolis and St. Paul, where you have a lot of wonderful people still working for the Minneapolis Star-Tribune and the St. Paul Pioneer Press. But let me emphasize to you that they have both ceased to be newspapers. By their own definition, not by mine. Because if you look at the size of this metro area, 20 years ago, when they were still making money, when it was a profitable enterprise, the Star-Tribune and the Pioneer Press established what the baseline for newspaper journalism in this area was. They said, we have to have this many reporters, we have to cover this many things, we need this many bureaus, this is what must be done if you are to practice the craft of journalism in this place. And since then, as you all know, they have dramatically downsized their newsroom staff. They have shut bureaus. They have ceased to do the practice of journalism. They have ceased to be newspapers by their own choice, by their own process. Now, I'm not saying that. They have said it. It is their own definition that we will accept, always. We don't have to do another one. And I'm not condemning them for that. I understand the dynamic that is occurring. I am not here to pick on them. I have good friends who work for those publications, and I love the good work. I see somebody's honoring Lori Sturdivant at some journalism award in a couple weeks. She's one of the most outstanding people that I've ever worked with in this business for years, and I love her work. So this is not to pick on people, but it is to tell you that if we